For over centuries, Rome built one of the greatest military weapons that the world had ever seen. Its legions conquered vast territories stretching from the windswept shores of Britain to the deserts of North Africa. They crossed mountains, crushed rebellions, defeated kingdoms, and built an empire that shaped the future of Europe, the Middle East, and beyond. And throughout that long history, one weapon remained at the center of Roman warfare, which was the sword. Roman soldiers trusted it with their lives, emperors celebrated it in triumphs, and enemies feared it. But here's something that most people don't realize. The Roman sword was never a single weapon. Over the centuries, Rome issued several different swords to its legionaries. Each one reflected the battlefield realities of its time. Each one solved problems the previous sword couldn't, and eventually, every single one of them was replaced. That was not because Roman blacksmiths forgot how to make weapons, not because soldiers suddenly stopped liking swords, but because warfare kept changing, new enemies appeared, new tactics emerged, and new threats demanded new solutions. The first Roman sword. Before the Rome became an empire, it was just another rising power in Italy. Early soldiers fought much like the Greeks. They carried large shields, fought in dense formations, and relied heavily on spears. The sword became a secondary weapon. When soldiers did carry one, it was usually inspired by Greek designs. These early blades were longer than later Roman swords and were designed for both cutting and thrusting. They worked reasonably well, but with the usage of it, Rome soon encountered a problem. The enemies they faced weren't fighting like Greeks. The tribal warriors of Spain and Gaul fought differently. Their battles were faster, more chaotic, more aggressive, and they carried swords that caught Roman attention immediately. Then the Romans noticed something important. The enemy's swords were often better suited for close combat than their own. So instead of stubbornly clinging to tradition, they did something Rome became famous for. They copied the best idea they found. The gladius hispaniensis, the first truly iconic Roman sword, came from Spain. This weapon measured roughly 2 feet long and featured a sharp point designed primarily for thrusting. At first glance, it looked unimpressive. It wasn't huge, it wasn't flashy, it wasn't decorated like the swords carried by kings. Roman soldiers fought shoulder to shoulder behind large shields. In those tight formations, long swords became awkward. There wasn't enough room to swing. Gladius solved that problem perfectly. Legionaries could stay protected behind their shields and quickly thrust into enemy ranks. A stab required less space than a slash. It was faster, more controlled, and often deadlier. Ancient writers repeatedly praised Roman soldiers for targeting the abdomen, where even a small wound could become fatal. Gladius became the weapon that helped Rome conquer the Mediterranean world. It fought against Carthage, it was fought in Gaul, it was fought in Greece, it fought almost everywhere. Roman armies marched for centuries. It seemed unstoppable. But eventually, Rome's enemies changed, and Gladius would have to change with them. The Mainz Gladius. As Rome expanded from the north into Europe, it encountered new enemies and new styles of warfare. Germanic tribes often fought differently from the opponents Rome had faced before. Battles could take place in forests, hills, and rough terrain where combat was less predictable and more chaotic. To meet these challenges, Roman commanders looked for ways to improve their weapons. One result was the Mainz Gladius, a new version of Rome's famous short sword. Named after discoveries near modern-day Germany, it featured a slightly wider blade and a distinctive shape that narrowed near the center. The Mainz Gladius kept the qualities that made the original Gladius so effective. It was still an excellent weapon for thrusting and close combat. However, its design also allowed soldiers to deliver more powerful slashing attacks when needed. This sword reflected Rome's practical approach to warfare. The Roman army valued effectiveness over tradition and was always willing to improve its equipment. The Mainz Gladius served Roman soldiers well for many years, but eventually another design would take its place. The Pompei Gladius. Most people imagine a Roman sword, they're probably thinking of Pompei Gladius. This version emerged during the early imperial period and became the standard weapon for countless legionaries. Compared to earlier models, the Pompei Gladius featured straighter edges and a more streamlined shape. It was simpler to manufacture, easier to maintain, and highly effective in combat. The Roman Empire was now enormous. Supplying hundreds of thousands of soldiers required standardization. Weapons needed to be produced quickly and consistently. The Pompei pattern delivered exactly that. It may not have looked dramatically different from earlier Gladius designs, but small improvements mattered. Roman logistics depended mostly upon efficiency. Every saved hour of production mattered. The Pompei Gladius became the sword carried during some of Rome's greatest years. Yet, despite its success, a major problem was emerging. Rome, quote, enemies were changing once again. And this time, the answer wasn't another version of gladius, it was an entirely different sword. The arrival of spatha. The spatha was not originally designed for Roman infantry. Instead, it was first used by Roman cavalry soldiers. Unlike foot soldiers, cavalrymen fought on horseback and needed a longer weapon to reach enemies from a distance. The spatha solved that problem perfectly. With a blade that was usually between 30 and 40 inches long, it was much longer than the traditional gladius carried by Roman legionaries. The extra length gave horsemen a greater reach, making it easier to strike opponents while riding at speed. For a long time, infantry soldiers continued to rely on the gladius. It had served Rome well for centuries and was highly effective in close combat. But warfare was beginning to change. During the 2nd and 3rd centuries, Rome increasingly faced enemies who carried longer swords and fought in different ways. Germanic warriors, in particular, often used lengthy blades that gave them an advantage in reach. At the same time, cavalry became more important in Roman armies, and battle formations grew less rigid than before. As a result, the benefits of a longer sword became difficult to ignore. Gradually, more infantry soldiers began carrying the spatha. What started as a cavalry weapon eventually became the standard sword of the Roman army, replacing the gladius after centuries of service. The sword that replaced Rome. When the Western Roman Empire finally collapsed in the 5th century, many of its traditions disappeared. But the spatha, Rome's long sword, was not one of them. Instead of fading away with the empire, the weapon continued its journey through history. The Germanic kingdoms that replaced Roman rule inherited many Roman military ideas and equipment. Among them was the spatha. Warriors admired its length, balance, and effectiveness in battle, so blacksmiths kept making and improving it. Over the years, the sword gradually changed. Blades became stronger, handles were redesigned, and local styles began to appear. Even though the weapon looked different from the original Roman version, its basic design remained the same. The influence of the spatha can be seen in many famous medieval swords. Frankish warriors carried descendants of it. Viking raiders used swords based on similar designs. Norman knights rode into battle with weapons that traced their origins back to Rome. Later, crusaders carried swords that continued this long tradition. In a way, the Roman sword never truly died. It simply evolved into something new. The empire that created it eventually vanished, but the weapon survived for centuries afterward, shaping the swords of medieval Europe and leaving a lasting mark on military history. The evolution of Roman swords. Every Roman sword was designed for a specific battlefield. Every replacement solved a new problem. The early Italian swords gave way to the gladius because Rome needed a better close combat weapon. The gladius evolved into improved patterns because military experience revealed weaknesses and opportunities. The spatha replaced the gladius because warfare demanded greater reach and versatility. None of these weapons failed. They simply belonged to different eras. That quote as the most important lesson in military history. Weapons rarely disappear because they become useless. They disappear because something else becomes more useful. Though the gladius helped build an empire, the spatha helped defend it, and together they influenced sword design for more than 1,000 years. The Roman Empire wasn't built by a single sword. It was built by generations of swords, and every one of them was eventually replaced.